everyone from the Tabernacle of David Prophetic Dance Center in Jerusalem. This message is for believers. I think the number one sin that believers fall into after salvation is self-righteousness. And I was with some friends last night. I had a friend from Norway and a friend from Japan here. You know, in Jerusalem, all the nations meet, which is something that's so beautiful and amazing about the city of God. And we were talking about all kinds of things. And you know, when we talk, we get revelation. And I had some breakthroughs things that have happened to me like 30 years ago. But as we tell our story, we see God right in the midst of it. We see what the Lord was doing. And it's a blessing to tell our story, and I want to encourage you to tell your story. And my guests were so gracious. We were each talking about our lives, but they were very interested in who I am and what I do. And it was lovely to have the opportunity to share with them and to get revelation and breakthrough. So it's really important that we refocus on God all the time, because man is fallen just like we are. I'm just talking spontaneously as things are coming. But the sin of self-righteousness is very common among believers, and sin is sin is sin. And we're called to love. This is the message. I think it was Max Lucado, I'm not sure, who said, share the gospel, and when you have to, use words. And so living in Israel, we're not Bible thumping. You know, we're not slamming Bibles over people's heads. We are going led of the Lord, as we should always do, to go led of the Lord. Just because something was what God wanted in a particular situation yesterday doesn't mean that's how he wants me to share today. But if we love with the love of Yeshua, even if there's no other believers there, when we walk into a room, we are carrying Yeshua. People's hearts will be melted by our consistent, loving behavior. Not perfect, but God says that we have everything we need for godliness and holiness because we have Yeshua living in our hearts. And so if you're not sure, just look up to heaven and say, God, I realize that you sent Yeshua to die for me. He is the perfect, unblemished, spotless Pesach lamb, the Passover lamb, and he laid it all down. He gave up his life. If it was only me, if I was the only one, he would have come. And he's my kipara, my sin covering, my guilt substitution. And he made a way for me to live out my destiny, to be in heaven with God, because he is the bridge back to the Father. Sin has broken that relationship, and we are born again, born of the Spirit, born anew in him, and now we can live out our lives to please God. And the scroll that was written for us before we were even born by God, we can come into that now. You know, the Bible says that without faith, it's impossible to please God. So now we can live a life that's pleasing to God. We can come into our one-of-a-kind destiny, and we can be eternally, forever in heaven with God. God bless you from the city of rejoicing. And let's not judge other people's lives. Yeshua said to us, take the plank out of our own eye before we tell our neighbor about the splinter that's in his or her eye. Let's have a consistent testimony of love. I don't care who you say you are or what you say you believe, your actions is what is going to speak to me. Too many people say too many things about too many things. It's our actions that truly speak the truth that we're living out. In Yeshua's name, God bless you from the city of the great King, Yerushalayim.